Hey, what's going on, guys? We are live and direct for another video. As you guys know, the transfer window has officially closed in the UK. I know that the Turkish window is still open, but who are you kidding? Arsenal are signing effing no one this January transfer window. With an already thin and depleted squad in attack, Arsenal have failed to bring in reinforcements this January transfer window, knowing that the squad was already thin and even more thin with Gabriel Jesus getting injured. It is a failure of a transfer window yet again. Another January transfer window where Arsenal do not sign anyone, banking the money on summer signings. Um, it's a huge risk from Arsenal not bringing anyone in. And I understand we're no longer the club that panic buys players, but then you could argue the loan signing of Raheem Sterling in the summer could have well and truly been a panic decision made. Even though it's a loan, it hasn't worked out for us so far as it stands. Arteta has spent the past month saying on live media that we're short in attack and that the players need help, that Kai Havertz needs support, and where is that support? Did they not expect Ethan Waneri and Miles Lewis Skelly to be as good as they are? Sure, be it. That's all well and good. But the truth is, we are one Kai Havertz injury away, God forbid, from Leandro Trossard having to lead the line or Martinelli up front, which Martinelli himself has said he doesn't like that position and it's not one of his well-suited positions. I know Trossard up front we have tried before in the past and it has worked out for us, so be it. But the squad is already thin and depleted, and we really needed attacking reinforcements, whether it be a backup winger for Bukayo Saka, coverage for Bukayo Saka, someone to bring competition for Saka, and we failed to get that. And then when Jesus went down injured, we desperately needed a striker, whether it be Watkins, Tell. We've not got any of them, and quite frustrating that Arsenal didn't do the business this window at all. You can't tell me there weren't viable market opportunities. Kvaratskhelia, another attacking reinforcement that we didn't even bother sending a bid for. I think he went for about 65 million euros. Omar Marmoush, another player we could have tried for. I know we couldn't do Premier League loans because of the domestic loans already with Neto and Sterling. Sterling might well and truly have a clause in his contract where we can't send him back, which makes sense. And his agent isn't stupid. If it's not going to work out, we can't ship him back. And then Neto, I never want to see Neto in goal for Arsenal in a Champions League game. And let's just hope that Ryan never gets injured, because Neto, either he was really excited or really nervous. Why is he coming so far out of his box for in a Champions League game? It almost felt like he took a leaf out of Robert Sanchez's book. Um, I think overall this January transfer window is a massive gamble with a squad that is even weaker than it was before the window opened. Um, it feels so hard to believe that there's no reinforcements in attack this window, but the sooner you accept that's the reality at the moment. Havertz has no help, and I think he's gonna have to play every single Champions League game until we are eliminated from the Champions League, starting off with the round of 16 to be played. After the playoffs, we'll find out who we face in the round of 16. But all facts aside, Havertz will not have rest, and it's unfair on the player. Um, and he has to stay fit. I think we're expecting a lot from Kai Havertz. The demands are going to be asked much higher than they were before. The bar is much higher on what we're expecting from Kai Havertz, and almost banking on him not getting injured is brutal. And I don't think it's fair on the player at all. Um, People are going to say, oh, maybe if they decided on signing Ollie Watkins. Well, on The Athletic earlier today, David Ornstein himself came out and said that Arsenal were offered Ollie Watkins for 60 million from Aston Villa. We sent a bid of 40 million, confirmed by Team News and Ticks. There was news from Michael Delaney that Arsenal would send a second bid, but that wasn't confirmed, and there was obviously no second bid sent when Aston Villa demanded no less than 60 million for Ollie Watkins to be released. And Aston Villa made it clear that they wouldn't release both John Duran and Aston Villa, as they would not have a striker. Um, And some people are going to give the copium that if Arsenal spent the money now on Benjamin Sesko, Victor Gyökeres, or even the likes of Victor Osimhen, who's on really high wages, they would say it would impact summer plans or any of the wages we're trying to implement for summer signings, like the likes of Isaac, one of our top targets this summer, or even Florian Wirtz or Mbuemo. We were linked to Semenyo at some point. All these names we were linked to, and ultimately Arsenal have absolutely signed no one. Zero reinforcements in attack, and unfortunately, it is a failure of a window for me. Sesko, Nico Williams, not activating the release clause, which I understand. He's had a poor season overall to begin with at Bilbao, and I think the player really, he said before when Arsenal tried chasing him that he's determined on Barcelona move. He wants to play with his boy Lamine Yamal, and he's made that well known. But Arsenal failed to activate Nico Williams' release clause, which I thought would well and truly be a last resort situation. But we didn't even bother with that. And on the one side, you can say, sure, Arsenal. I'd rather Arsenal not panic buy and bring a body just for the sake of bringing a body. But with that being said, we've had 31 days, and all I've seen was Arsenal are exploring. Arsenal are monitoring the lights of. Arsenal have explored all of the opportunities for a striker in Europe. Arsenal have sent scouts out to explore, to manifest, to monitor, to determine. All of these buzzwords, and ultimately, Arsenal have signed no one. No reinforcements in attack, and completely relying on Kai Havertz to not get injured for the remainder of the season is really shooting ourselves in the foot. Yet again, the Kroenkes choose, whether it's the Kroenkes or Arteta, adamant on the type of player he wants and not wanting any other alternatives. That's yet to be answered. Really underwhelming for me this transfer window. I really thought we would try to get Ollie Watkins, but I don't even think we, as I said earlier, we didn't even send a second bid for Watkins. So we've simply given up. And overall, the mismanagement of Arsenal in the transfer window, this whole window, all we did was very close to understanding. Arsenal were monitoring, Arsenal were considering, Arsenal were exploring, Arsenal were watching, discussing, preparing, approaching, admiring, advancing talks with, agreed personal talks with, all nonsense. And ultimately, Arsenal have not signed anyone alongside Liverpool and Newcastle, the other Premier League clubs, to not make a signing this window. I believe Chelsea got incoming this window, even if it's just a kid. And the justification that I saw on Twitter was that we've got through the tough part of the fixture congestion, which I disagree with, because we still have to go to Old Trafford. We still have to play Newcastle at St. James Park in the EFL Cup, which is on Wednesday. We still have to play at Anfield, and we're still in the Champions League. Have this club forgotten that we're still in the Champions League? Or are they throwing that out the window, or not expecting us to win that, to win or even try to compete in that in that um in that competition? So I think, I understand we beat Man City 5 goals to 1, and I'm really happy about that. But you need to not sugarcoat things and say things as they are. I think the concern, it's not me being angry at the Kroenkes or angry at Arteta. It's me saying the truth, that the concern is if Kai Havertz gets injured, we have no fit striker to replace him. And the issue is Havertz is not really clinical either. He needs help. And we all loved his performance yesterday. He could have scored more. But there's many times where against the Big Six, we struggle. We struggle against low blocks this season. And we've shown where when we take our foot off the gas, sometimes we're not as clinical as we need to be. And we needed that out and out striker. And I just want to also point out that as much as we're hoping Kai Havertz doesn't get injured, we're hoping that Raya would never get injured throughout this season, because watching Neto was terrible, and I'd rather play Tommy Setford over Neto at this point. I think Neto, throwing the guy in, sure, he hasn't had a run of games, but man, he's played in the Premier League before, and he was just so nervous or so excited. And playing out for the back was a horrible decision. And the club knows that we were short in attack. The club knows that we needed reinforcements, and I think this all goes back to the summer window where we really needed a striker, and we failed to do so. People said we tried to get Benjamin Sesko in the summer, and then he decided to extend his contract. Victor Gyökeres said he didn't want to go this season, and then the 80 million buyout clause, we didn't want to pay that either. They said Sporting Lisbon wanted it in one lump sum, which Arsenal didn't want to do. But I think the other thing is we need to take accountability, and the truth is we failed to strengthen this window, and we're now forcing so much more demands on players like Kai Havertz to step up and step up more than we needed him to before. We're in the Champions League round of 16. We have games to play both legs, home and away, against could be top oppositions if we get through into the quarterfinals. And this club failed to acknowledge that. I understand we have summer targets, but we have money from Eddie Nketiah's sale and from selling Smith Rowe to Fulham. You can't tell me Arsenal didn't have at least 60 million to try for Ollie Watkins. We bid 40 million. How are you telling me we can't put another 20 million? And it's Arsenal Football Club. We're moving like a cheap club. Like we're shopping at Poundland, or window shopping, I would say, throughout this transfer window. I don't even think the window opened for Arsenal Football Club, if we're being honest. And it's quite disappointing. I just wanted to come on here and share my views on what I think of our season so far as it stands with regards to this January transfer window coming shut. Arsenal have failed to sign anyone this window, and it is ultimately we're going to have to face with the reality that Kai Havertz is going to have to play every single game in the Champions League, and a lot more higher expectations and demands on such player. And I think the game against City, a lot of people are still riding on the high, which I totally agree with and understand you guys. Guys, it was the best atmosphere of any Premier League game I've ever witnessed in Arteta's managerial career. It was incredible. I really hope that we'll take this game Wednesday seriously. We have to move on from this transfer window, but I'm really sad that I can't even be annoyed at Kai Havertz. Arsenal fans should not even spend a single penny. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that. Well, I say I couldn't believe it, but we've got another January window before in the past where we didn't sign anyone. So it's so typical of Arsenal to not sign anyone, and especially knowing that after Jesus got injured out for the rest of the season, they knew that, and we still didn't get reinforcements in attack. Forget the wings. I understand they stopped looking at a winger 4 weeks ago, which is fine. After Jesus got injured, you know we need a bagsman up front, and we failed to secure that. Sure, you can say Isaac wasn't available. Newcastle wouldn't let Isaac go for 100+ million is what they're demanding, and it's impossible to get him in a January window when Newcastle are fighting for top 4 and are fighting for a Champions League spot. Watkins, Champions League, still in the Champions League with Villa. Although he's a boyhood gooner, quite frustrating that we didn't even tempt Villa with the second bid. We stopped at 40 million. We sold Eddie Nketiah for 35 million to Crystal Palace. And are you telling me the Arsenal think it's acceptable to send a 40 million bid for Ollie Watkins, who's Premier League proven and has much more goals than Eddie Nketiah? It's embarrassing and pathetic from us. I think that's a whole low. And of course, Villa would be upset with something like that. I don't know who leaked it to the media, but for us to send a 40 million bid when players like Eddie Nketiah were sold for 35 million is an absolute piss take. And we need to come to terms with that as fans. This club didn't bother to send a second bid for Ollie Watkins, and David Ornstein made it clear on The Athletic today, saying that Arsenal were offered Watkins from Villa, but Villa made it clear that they wanted 60 million. There's no way they're letting Watkins go for cheaper price tag than what John Duran went for. And I know John Duran is a lot younger. He has more potential, and the Saudi League paying him a lot higher wages. So be it. Villa made it clear they're not selling John Duran and Watkins in the same window. Then why did we send a bid in the first place? And I don't know the timing of the Ornstein video. Of course, he only made it today, but I don't know the actual time of when Villa have offered us Watkins and we sent a 40 million bid. Apparently, it was last week, and Miguel Delaney said we would send a second bid. Obviously, that's fallen on deaf ears, or the fax machine broke because we've done f all. We've not we didn't bother to send another 20 million to try to tempt Villa for Watkins. Hi Zanzi, hi BX Gunner. I'm just about to wrap up this stream. I just wanted to talk briefly about this transfer window frustrations. And I wanted to come on here and share my views on I understand we embarrassed Man City, and you best believe I'm definitely happy about humbling Holland with 2 academy kids from Hale End. He's definitely going to remember who Miles Lewis Skelly is for the rest of his Premier League career. I don't care if he has a treble to his name. And his dad's going to remember the whole stadium chanting about his son in a negative light, of course. And that's Alfie Holland I'm referring to. But I did want to share my views on this transfer window and how I think it is a 0 out of 10 transfer window. There was pre-contracts for Jorginho, and there was also a pre-contract for Tierney. We didn't hear officially about the pre-contract for Flamengo for Jorginho, but we did hear about the pre-contract for Kieran Tierney to Celtic to return to his void club. Hi Moss, thanks for joining. I did see you guys live. I was about to wrap up and join if you were still live, but I think you just ended the stream. I wanted to do kind of a review of this transfer mess from Arsenal and the fact that we're always reactive than proactive. It's not the first time Arsenal have failed to do that in a transfer window where we have injuries, we have a thin and depleted squad, and we failed to bring in reinforcements in our attack. I understand not bringing any Tom, Dick, and Harry, but we had targets, and we had players that were available. Matthias Tel, he initially rejected Tottenham when Daniel Levy went there to Germany to try to convince him. And then it seems like Ange Postecoglou got on the phone and convinced this guy to join Tottenham with an obligation to buy. The reason Arsenal did not and stopped in discussing with Mattel is because Bayern Munich wanted an obligation to buy, and Arsenal only wanted a dry loan with an option to buy. They didn't want an obligation to buy. Manchester United previously agreed 60 million for Matthias Tel, and it was with obligation to buy, but he still rejected Manchester United as well. But to go to Tottenham and thinking you're going to get ahead of Son, Solanke, and Richarlison the Pigeon, it's a bit question marks around that. And I know Bayern still owes some money for Harry Kane. There could be something there that we don't know behind the scenes. And we also saw that Marcus Rashford, Asensio, both signed for Villa as well. I think Villa won the transfer window this window, and City, they finally got their DM that they needed the temporary Rodri replacement. There was also news today that Dragason's done his ACL, another injury for Tottenham Hotspur. Hi Randy, hope you're well. Thanks for joining. Hi 305, thanks for joining, bro. Hope you enjoyed Royal Rumble at the weekend, and there was good hockey games as well. AC Milan sent Joao Felix out on loan. That's an interesting one. It's a straight loan with no obligation or option to buy, so he will return to Chelsea at the end of the season. I'm not sure what's going on with Chelsea's new owners, but they signed him for 45 million, not played him, and then loaning him out to AC Milan. Question marks around what Chelsea are doing, but we quite need to focus on ourselves and our window. What we're gonna do moving forward, and more so, we have a very thin squad already. We need to just pray that none of our players get injured, and we really just have to hope that nothing happens to Havertz or David Raya, because I don't want to see Neto in goal for another Arsenal game, and I don't think any of you want to, rightfully so, because we might as well just forfeit the game at that point. Moss, I didn't send it to any groups. I was just about to wrap up the stream actually, but thanks a lot. I did tune into your stream. I was in the live chat, and I was putting some comments in there. I did see Aussie Gunner. I said Aussie in the house. It was reference to him. Hi Randy. What the hell is going on in Canada? The racism. I don't know what you're talking about in terms of racism, Randy, but we're having sheriffs from Donald Trump, so we're being taxed on a lot of on everything American imported. So buy Canadian, and make sure you're supporting Canada. Really shame what Donald Trump's doing to Canada, and I guess that phone call between Trudeau and Trump hasn't gotten any better. I don't know how long this is gonna go for, but it's politics. Um, it's politics, and I think that's for a whole different topic and a can of worms. With that being said, folks, let me know your thoughts on Arsenal's transfer window. I did mention that Man City finally got their DM. They also signed Kuzunov, who had a terrible first 5 minutes of his debut, and they signed Omar Marmoush. I think that's the big signing for City this window, and then Rashford finally being able to play football again for Aston Villa. I think he might do well under Unai Emery, but that's one to watch. Also, Ben Chilwell's Chelsea has gone on loan to Crystal Palace, and Tottenham put in a cheeky 60 million bid for Mark Guehi of Crystal Palace, and it was instantly rejected. Palace said they're not selling him, and yep, another L for Tottenham to hold. Yep, Nico Gonzalez from Porto. They signed him today and wrapped up right before the transfer window ended. But no business from Arsenal, folks, unfortunately. I did go live earlier to talk about my thoughts on the match of Arsenal stumping against Man City at home at the Emirates. I did talk about the performance. I talked about the atmosphere at the stadium was absolutely electrifying. It was incredible scenes, absolute limbs at the stadium. I've never seen something like that before. I did talk about that earlier today. If you do want to check it out, it'll be here on the recommended videos of my previous videos. Looking forward to Newcastle at St. James Park in the Cup. It's not going to be an easy one for us. 2 goals takes it to penalties. Hopefully we score early on in the game. Let me know your lineup for that Newcastle game in the EFL Cup. Surely we don't have a B squad team. And do we go all out for that? I know Newcastle haven't won a trophy in many years, and they're definitely playing for this trophy, potentially being in the final with Liverpool, or Tottenham, whatever happens at Anfield in the second leg. Guys, do you think Arsenal can turn it around at St. James Park? I know this is probably the last moment and not the best moment to be optimistic, especially after Arsenal failing to sign an attacker this window. But I do think that if Arsenal score early on at St. James Park, we can turn it around. 2 goals takes it to penalties, and hopefully nothing happens to Raya by Wednesday. And I know St. James Park is not an easy ground to go to. We haven't really done well there before. I know Newcastle have some injuries as well, but Fabian Schär and Bruno Guimaraes will be available for that second leg in the EFL Cup. Tottenham will also play Liverpool at Anfield, so that's another game as well. I think if we get that early goal, we'll break down the nerves, and hopefully we don't take our foot off the gas and we stay in momentum. I do think we can win the game and take an advantage. I know it's not easy, but I do think that there's a small possibility that we can turn it around. If the boys are up for it like they were against Man City from minute 1, we show that aggression on the pitch. I do think we can turn it around. Newcastle has previously lost to Bournemouth in the league and also to Fulham, so they can be beat, and they're not really in the best of form at the moment, if you're being honest. I know they have a bagsman at in Alexander Isak. But other than that, I know Bruno Guimaraes can be good as well. I hate his shithousery. I always say I want that shithousery person on my team. I want that bastard on my team, not against me. I always say. Um, and I do think if we score early, we can turn it around. Moss is saying we were discussing that Luke and Moss get that early goal and they get very nervous at St. James. We can break them down 100%. Super Bowl this Sunday, yes, it's gonna be a good one this Sunday. Make sure you all get your Super Bowl snacks. Um, will be good. Ismail Kone also moved earlier today. I saw his transfer. It won't be easy at St. James Park, says Zanzi, but then we never do anything easy, but we can do it 100%. I do want to reiterate, I hope we don't take our foot off the gas if we score early on at St. James Park. Hopefully we can keep going in a good momentum and stay focused and keep calm. I hope it'll be a good game and hope Arsenal can turn it around. Chicken wings and dip this Sunday, you can't go wrong with that. Moss says, long sleeve training top, thanks so much, was wearing it on stream. No problem, Moss. I'm glad it was the right size. I'm not really sure sometimes with UK sizing from the Armory. Sometimes it's quite different. And it's best to try things on, but it's hard when you're buying gifts and you're unsure of. Thanks to BX who joined earlier. Tejan training at Villarreal. Yes, I did see that on Instagram Reels. Randy, hope you're back in New Zealand now. I knew you were on holiday, I think in Japan. So if you're still watching this, I hope you enjoyed your holiday in Japan. Definitely a country I want to go to on my bucket list. Maybe in the summertime. Would be great to go to Japan. Incredible views there. And I think really good people as well, I'll say. From what I heard from people who went there before. From friends who've been there before. With that being said, folks, have a wonderful rest of your evening or night. It's late night in the UK now, past 2:15 a.m. Thanks everyone who's joined and tuned in. If you are watching on the replay, let me know your thoughts going into the Newcastle game away from home at St. James Park. Do you think Arsenal can turn it around in the second leg in the EFL Cup? And what do you think of the Liverpool-Tottenham game on the other side? And do you think Arsenal can make it to the final if we turn it around? Hopefully, what's your lineup predictions going into that game? Would you play your strongest lineup? Any players you would rest, like Havertz? Can he really be rested? Because we don't have an alternative attacking assets other than the three attackers that are left. Butler, Oyadeji, I don't even think we would play him. No disrespect to him. He's just an academy kid. And I did see rumors that there could have been a move for him to go on loan, but that didn't come through as well. So let me know your thoughts on the predicted lineup going into the Newcastle game away at St. James Park. Are you confident going into that game? And do you think Arsenal can turn it around 2 goals deficit to take it to penalties at St. James Park? Ethan Waneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly are the future of Hale End and the future of Arsenal Football Club. And I'm so proud of these two developing really, really well. I like the mentality they have, the leadership they bring into this team. And at young age, 17 and 18, these two are showing levels in the Premier League and definitely making their name known, making themselves known and heard. I don't know if anyone knew this, but Miles Lewis-Skelly's mom, she trains people in football scouting for academy kids and how to deal with how to handle academy type players, how to give advice to young academy kids. So that's quite interesting. Because easily academy kids can be easily influenced by players, agents, just for the money, and sometimes it's not always the right move. Like we saw Omari Hutchinson when he went to Chelsea. I know he's at Ipswich now and he's not doing so bad, but that's just an example for my point. I appreciate everyone who's joined throughout the day. We were live earlier on the Gooner dance channel. It's called The Gooner. We were doing our transfer reveal show. Unfortunately, Arsenal didn't sign anyone, so we were mostly venting with other Gooners about how depleted our attack looks and the reluctancy of the board and Arteta to sign a player other than the players that he most wants. There's no alternatives, and Arteta is dead set on XYZ player for the summer. The summer transfer window is definitely going to be a big one, I hope, with some players leaving, some players' loans being terminated, and even potentially losing Jesus on a free transfer is what it's looking like. Tierney going back to Celtic, Jorginho out of contract, Thomas Partey out of contract, Lokonga on loan, Fabio Vieira on loan, Reece Nelson on loan. Would be interesting to see what happens in the summer. We have midfield positions to replace. We have a DM position open. Links of a pre-contract with Zubamendi. We'll see what unfolds with that one. Definitely one to watch for the summer. But as of now, we need to be honest with ourselves, and this January transfer window is another failed window for the Arsenal. Let me know your thoughts on the transfer window. Do you think it's fair game that Arsenal didn't sign anyone this window? And what do you think of her attack if something was to happen to Havertz? God forbid, then we're playing Trossard up front. And if something happens to Trossard and Havertz, then we are playing without a striker, my friend. And let's just hope we don't get any further injuries. People saying Saka might be back in March. I highly doubt it. I don't think they'll rush him back on the pitch. But if we're in the Champions League quarterfinal, maybe, I don't know if they'll bring Saka off the bench or something. Definitely one to watch. We did see that Ben White was doing light training on the pitch. Training sessions, light training on the pitch. No sign of Tomiyasu updates, which is quite worrying. And hopefully we see Ben White back in action soon. I know Timber's been brilliant defensively and physicality-wise as well on the pitch. He reads the game well. But I do miss Ben White, and I do miss his shithousery in this team. It would have been great if he was there against Man City, but Timber, Gabriel, and William Saliba held it down. They were colossal units in that game against Man City yesterday. Thanks everyone who's tuned in. Let me know your thoughts on the January transfer window, and let me know what you think of Arsenal's business. Failure to sign an attacking asset this window, does that put Arsenal out of odds of winning anything this season? Maybe we could have had a shot at the we could possibly still have a shot at the EFL Cup. Definitely still to be played Wednesday, the second leg at St. James Park. Hope for the best. Hope Arsenal can turn it around. Come on, you Gunners. And we're out of here. I'll see you all for the next one. Possibly on the weekend. Yeah, probably on the weekend. So after, I'll do a quick Arsenal chat on the weekend. I know there's 9 days of no football after the EFL Cup, where Arsenal will be in Dubai, warm weather training. Only winners this window were City and Villa, 100%. Thanks for joining, Jay Tapia. Hope you're well. Thanks for subscribing if you're new. I'm going to cue the outro now. If you're watching this on replay, let me know your thoughts of the transfer window. Let me know your predicted lineup for St. James Park, our second leg in the EFL Carabao Cup. And let me know what you think of Arsenal's transfer window. Was it a success or was it a failure to you? I have yet to find someone that says this window was successful. Really, really poor. JPT, wow. JPT, I didn't know this is your account. Thanks for joining. Are you guys still live on your channel? I was there earlier. I kept switching between you and Wolfie. I couldn't figure out where to join the stream. I was gonna message Wolfie to ask if I can join the panel, as I wanted to share my views on Chelsea as a neutral. I know you guys won the game today, but you guys looked really, really upset to not having signed a striker. I know you don't have a striker, just like us, really, because Nico Jackson needs help. Thanks so much, JPT. I'll see you guys live on the next one. I have notifications for both of your channels. Relentless, big up, my brother. Hope you're well, Relentless. I'm just wrapping up the stream now. He says, hi, Mel. If I'm being honest, we didn't get a striker because we wouldn't have an excuse. I don't. We didn't get a striker because we wouldn't have an excuse. I don't understand that comment, Relentless. Um, let's do something to discuss Windows. Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm down. Just shoot me a message. It's been a while since I spoke to you guys. I think Wolfie messaged me last on New Year's, and I didn't speak to him in a while. I think I wished him back for New Year's, and I just chatted in both of your streams whenever I see you guys live. Thanks 305 for joining. See you Sunday for the Super Bowl. Big games Sunday. Those of you that watch the NFL, it's the Super Bowl on Sunday. Thanks for Tomas for joining. Jordan Hyman, BX, Randy, Zanzibar, Barian. Thanks everyone watching on the replay. Relentless JPT. Relentless says, I mean, we wouldn't have an excuse for why we didn't win the league. 100% no excuses at all. And only watching for Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, he's going to perform at the Super Bowl. He's going to play humble for Holland. Definitely. And they were playing that at full time after Arsenal's win. Relentless, I saw you the other day in Uncle Mason's chat. Let me know what you think off air of the Luka trade and AD trade. I can't believe the Mavs traded Luka Doncic. I was in London and I saw Sham's tweet. I thought it was a fake account, and then my friends kept texting me saying, "Did you see the Luka Doncic trade?" And I couldn't believe it. So the Mavs got rid of Luka because he was too big. The Slovenian was overweight for them. But man, what's happened? Really shocked trade. AD also traded. Um, I couldn't believe they got rid of him. And then Zach LaVine gonna play with DeRozan again. It will be interesting to see how they do. Um, I'm talking basketball right now, so if you don't watch basketball, you can just stop the video here. Felician Perenza says Arsenal is strong, believe in the process. Um, yeah, but it doesn't negate from the fact that we have a very thin squad, and even thinner squad now after Jesus got injured with no reinforcements, relying on Kai Havertz to play every single game in the Champions League with no backups. Dallas is smoking too much weed. Yeah, I don't know what strain they're smoking over there. Lakers Doncic. Wow, I sent you that first. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. When I checked Shams' tweet, I thought it was a fake account at first, and everyone kept messaging me saying, "Did you see the Luca trade? Did you see the Luca trade?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm in a different country. I totally missed it." But I couldn't believe it, man. The Mavs didn't even shop. Doncic wanted the brow. Yeah. Um, I couldn't believe it, and I can't believe he's going. Man, LeBron's gassing it up, of course. But man, what are Dallas smoking over there? Um, LeBron even tweeted to Luca today. I think it was today or yesterday. He said, "You're a Laker now. Let's go make history." I can't. It looks so out. Like it doesn't even suit him. Dallas needs some Canadians and Canadian stream. Yeah, I'm happy in LA. Um, well, you're a Lakers fan, Felician. I was live when Doncic deal went down. I thought it was all fake at first. Yeah, that's exactly my reaction. I thought it was fake. I can't believe he is going to be playing alongside LeBron. And those of you who called out Bronny James early on in the G League, that's exactly where he belongs. And just because your dad's a basketball player and a professional hooper doesn't mean you're going to make it like that um, in the big leagues. And no disrespect to Bronny James, but the truth is, he's definitely found his level to settle down in the G League. And so many people gassed him up, all these LeBron fans, for Bronny, but you gotta be honest with yourselves about Bronny James. Raptors. I don't really want to talk about the Raptors right now. We're pretty much a tanking team, although we've been winning recently. But we're trying to tank to get the first draft pick, and um, so the Golden State Warriors opted not to trade for Zach LaVine in order to pursue bigger names, and then yeah, I can't believe Zach LaVine's gonna be playing with DeRozan again. I don't know. DeRozan, people say he was like one of the best Raptors of all time. I don't really agree with that. Um, I know he's really well respected by Raptors fans still to this day. I feel your pain, Miss Melina. I'm a Wizards fan. Oh man, you're a Chelsea fan and a Wizards fan, bro. Pick a struggle, JPT. Bronny got through his life even now with the line, bro. Do you know who my dad is? Yeah. Felician's a Lakers fan. We can't even tank correctly the Raptors. Yeah. Man, OG and Newbie's doing well with the Knicks, and man, the Knicks are looking like a whole different version of themselves. They're playing well, hoops. Um, yeah, I was really shocked about that Luka trade. So that's all I gotta say for that. Um, if we if the Raptors could have ever gotten KD, that would have been incredible. Mr. Miami Heat fan since 1993. Bronson, Cat, Hart, Mikal Bridges, KD, would be a dream team. Mikal Bridges, in my opinion, still a good player. I think he still has it in him. I know some people don't rate him, but the Rockets are something else, man. Anyway, enough basketball talk. Did talk about the transfers. Did talk about briefly about Newcastle. Shea Gilgeous Alexander, MVP, Canadian Thunder. Yep, Shea, SGA. I have my Redskins though. Oh, okay. Yeah. Ismail Coney, I did see that this morning off to Rennes. I think that'll be a good move for him, minutes wise and game time wise. I think it'll suit him, and I hope it works out well for him. Ismail Coney, our Canadian. I'm gonna cue the outro now. Thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. Check out my Sports World on the road to 1K. Jordan LFC on the road to 1.5K. And the Gooner channel on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We did do a transfer show on there. Moss Sports World, Luke and Aussie Gooner also did a transfer news show on their stream. And thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. Thanks to my mod, Rosie. She's not here right now, but really appreciate her. Always promoting other people's channels and helping the community grow. Lakers with no strong center. We will suffer 100%. I'm not a Lakers fan. I can't stand LeBron fans. Always chatting large. There's a lot of LeBron fans in Toronto where I am. Thanks everyone who's tuned in. I'm gonna cue the outro now. Respects to each and every one of you. Have a good night. Take care, everyone. Make sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Let me know what country in the world you're watching from also in the comments down below. It'll be interesting to see where in the world you're watching from. And if you are watching this on Twitter, click the link in my Twitter bio. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm on the road to 9.5 thousand subscribers over 4 years, which is quite insane to be saying. Really grateful for the community on here and on Twitter. Respects to each and every one of you. Have a good night. Come on, you Gunners, for Wednesday at St. James Park.